Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie Thiessen and I'm your GelMoment independent distributor. Today I'm going to show you how to do a fill on your GelMoment manicure. This manicure is already 2 weeks old and you can see that it has grown out quite a bit. So I'm going to show you how to fill in that gap between your old polish and your cuticle line and make it perfectly new again. So before we get started with our fill, we're going to look over our manicure and just make sure that we don't have any areas where the polish is lifting. If you have a simple chip in the polish, that's okay. We can fix that and just cover it up with new polish. But if you have any areas where the polish is lifting or it's cracked and moisture can get underneath the polish, you'll need to remove and reapply a new coat of polish. We don't want to do a fill over top and trap moisture underneath there. So the first thing we're going to do is clean up our cuticle line. Our cuticles need to be nicely pushed back and cleaned up off the nail plate in between where the polish is and your cuticle line. It's been about 2 weeks since I did my last manicure, so my cuticles have grown out quite a bit, so we're going to just make sure that we clean them up nicely so that the polish has a nice clean surface to adhere to on the nail plate. Now that our cuticles are all cleaned up, we're ready to prepare our old manicure for some new polish. The first step is to buff or file down the cuticle line of your old manicure. This is going to help make a smooth transition between where your old polish is and where your natural nail is. Only file along the old polish. We do not want to be damaging our natural nails and filing our nail plate. So make sure that you're double checking that you aren't going too far through the polish as you are filing down that ridge. And make sure that after you have filed down the ridge that you buff over the entire polish so that it has a nice clean and a little bit of a roughed up surface for the new polish that you're going to apply over top to adhere to. If you only have 2 coats of polish on, you probably will be able to just get away with buffing the nail and maybe filing the cuticle line just a little bit. I have 3 coats of polish on here, so I need to file a little bit more along the old cuticle line so that I have a smoother transition between the old polish and the new polish. Now that we have our old cuticle line ridges filed down for a smooth transition, we are ready to start applying the polish. So we're going to clean the nail plate off with our cleanser pad just to make sure that the dust from filing is all cleaned off and not going to get in our new polish. Now we're ready to start applying the polish. The ridge from the old manicure and where your natural nail is will still have a little bit of a height difference. And so what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are still using very thin coats of polish. GelMoment gel polish is self-leveling, so it will level itself down into that little dip that's created between the old manicure and your natural nail. And we want to make sure that we are using a thin coat so that we don't have pooling there, which will cause the polish not to cure properly. After curing 1 coat of polish, you can see that there is still a little bit of a height difference between our old manicure and our fill, and the second coat of polish will typically take care of that ridge. If after your first coat of polish for your fill, you notice that the height difference between your old manicure and your natural nail is still pretty significant, you'll want to take your file and file that down before applying any more coats of polish. A quick tip to make sure that your manicure doesn't end up too thick after you are done with your fill is to make sure that you file down the entire manicure when you're filing down for the ridge. You can file down through those layers and remove several layers of polish so that you don't have too thick of an application on your nails. If you only have 2 coats of polish on your nail, you don't really need to do this. You can, and it will help with your removal later. But you will want to make sure that you are filing through those layers, making sure that you don't get into your natural nail while you're doing this. Applying thin coats is the most important thing. You want to make sure that that gap between your old manicure and your cuticle line doesn't have too much polish in it. If it does, it won't cure fully and it will not last as long. You also don't want to have uncured polish sitting on your nail, so it's really important to make sure that you are using really thin coats to go over the entire nail as well as filling in that cuticle line. Doing a fill on your GelMoment manicure is a great way to extend the life of your manicure and get a few more weeks out of it. But when you're ready to remove your polish after doing a fill, there's a few things that you need to keep in mind. The most important thing to remember is to file through the layers of polish before applying the remover pouches or flake off. you probably have 4 or 5 layers of polish on your nail. So filing through as much of the polish as you can before applying the remover is going to help the remover do its job better and help your polish come off easier. And be patient when you are removing your polish. You may need to apply the remover pouches or flake off 1 or 2 more times depending on how many coats of polish you have on, but being patient with your removal will help ensure that you have healthy, natural nails for your next manicure. And that's how easy it is to do a fill on your GelMoment manicure and help you get another couple of weeks out of a manicure that you are absolutely loving. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thanks so much for watching.